What's up, everyone? Welcome to Screen Smash. I'm your host, Dan Morris. Joining me tonight, we have Louis Reza.
Hi.
Jake Brown.
I'm Jacoby One Jabroni.
And Salty Maria.
Hello.
That's too happy. Be saltier.
Salty.
Salty. Where's the salt?
I like how you say salty to Maria.
Wait, I meant Maria loves everything.
There we are.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Screen Smash. Tonight, we are going to be talking about video games. We're going to talk about games surprised us. Yeah, right? Oh, what?
Video games again? Dan, we did that last week.
Oh, right. So, video games, but this time specifically, we're going to talk about video games that we like that we didn't expect to like, video games that everybody likes, but we don't like. And we're going to talk about Redfall, which is getting a lot of buzz lately. There's a lot of articles and previews talking about how it has to potentially be a front runner for Game of the Year. We have been checking out some of these previews, and we have some thoughts. So we're going to get into what we think about Redfall. To start us off, we're going to talk about the games that we didn't think we'd like, but we ended up liking, and we're pretty surprised. We're going to start this one off with Maria.
Oh, what? Damn it. Well, the game I didn't think I was going to like, I was actually surprised by this, but it came to me today.
You were surprised?
I was surprised. Because
I'm surprised.
What?
I'm surprised that she played it.
I was surprised. Returnal. I thought I was going to fucking hate that game because it's basically every game that I'm just like, everything about it I shouldn't like. I don't really like Metroid because I don't like Metroidvania type games because I'm not a fan of like running around like looking for things in the same area. I also don't like repeating things a lot. And also I'm not very good at Soulsborne games, like dying instantly and thingies. I'm shit at them. Returnal is all of that.
Wait, can you repeat everything you just said?
No, Louis, fuck off. So yeah, it's everything I shouldn't like in a game, but it's and I was actually doubting buying it when I bought my PlayStation 5. I was like, it looks interesting, but I don't know if I'm gonna like it. And I played it and I was like, this is actually really fucking good. So yeah, it's a game that really surprised me, and it's one of the few games I actually do go back to and play. I've even played it with Dan. We had fun. Yeah.
That's a good time. The co-op too was surprisingly fun.
Yeah, the split screen part on it, it kind of pisses me off that you can't do crossplay between PC and PlayStation, but that's another story. But yeah, I really like it, and I was really surprised that it's the sort of game that appealed to me because, yeah.
I can piggyback on that a little bit too, because like I had my expectations for that game, but I was mostly unsure because it's a roguelite, and I'm hit or miss with roguelikes, and it pulls it off exceptionally well.
Yeah,
it does it in a way that I wasn't expecting, and that was also a surprise for me. And I like bullet hell shooters like it is, and I like that it's a Metroidvania. I'm into that. I'm into almost everything about the game. But yeah, that actually it works really well. I was like, I hate time loop games too. Yeah. Like time loop games don't really do it for me. And I'm like, I gotta like earn a bunch of stuff, but then you die and you got to re-earn it again, and you got to get it all over.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, that sucks.
That's something that would have got to me because I asked people about this game before I played it, and they were trying to give me like, oh, it's like this game, and they were like, oh, it's like Hades, and it's like this, and I'm like, I don't like any of those games, so I'm gonna hate this game. But
I was about to say that actually is that I did like Hades. I haven't tried Returnal, but I did love Hades. This isn't one of mine because I mean, literally everybody loves it. But I found that I did like that aspect. And so when somebody, but like Dan's saying, I like everything else about Returnal, and I was a little bit reserved for it, but I am actually very excited to try it, even though it is everything I hate. No, not yet.
Have you seen it in action though?
No, I refuse because I want to be surprised.
Gotcha. All good.
Was that only for PlayStation or was that on Xbox as well?
It was only for PlayStation, but it came to PC. It is a PlayStation Studio game. PlayStation actually bought the studio right after Returnal came out, so they confirm or they like solidify that it is a PlayStation game at that point.
That was one of the only reasons I wanted to get a PS5, and then they were like, "Now it's on PC." I'm like, "Never mind."
Yeah.
If you played Returnal on your PC, Louis, it would catch fire. So don't.
The bullets in the game would come out of the screen and shoot you in the face.
Fine with it.
Can you imagine Returnal VR? Yeah, right.
If they do like PSVR 2 Returnal, maybe. That's a conversation for another time, but I like that idea. Have you seen Returnal at all, Jake?
No, like I keep associating it with Callisto Protocol.
I can see that
because of the helmet.
It's the helmet, the freaking helmet, and I'm just like, is that what it is? No, it's not. No, like I actually haven't heard much about it, so it's pretty cool to hear good things about it.
Especially if I've played it, it's got to be something special.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be good, right?
And so I can confirm it's one of 2 games I've played with Maria in the past year.
Man, I keep thinking of that. And then what's that other game? I think it's Zombie Army Trilogy for some weird reason. That's what I think of when she was talking about like the co-op. I don't know why, because it's probably nothing like it. But like that's the 2 games that came to mind. But sounds interesting.
What's yours, Jake?
Mine is a little strange and a little way too late to the party. Final Fantasy VII, the original.
The original, okay.
So one of my best friends, like growing up, he's a big Final Fantasy fan, and he would nonstop talk to me about Final Fantasy to the point to where I'm like, shut up. Like, I hate Final Fantasy. I hate everything. I know nothing about it, but the fact that you just won't shut up about it makes me hate it that much more. So I just like swore off the series. And it wasn't until I think they ported it to the PS4, maybe like 5-6 years ago.
2015-ish?
Yeah, I think somewhere around there. But like I picked it up and I was like, why not? I was bored. And it was before I had a backlog. So good times.
And thus was the birth of your backlog.
Yeah. No, so I played it and like, dude, like it had me hooked right at that like opening music. Like the music alone, that's it. Like that is it. Like the story was great. I even went so far as to like 100%ing it, like platinuming it, which is insane. Because
I got the Barry friendship achievement.
Yes.
Wow.
Dude, this is freaking awesome.
I guess like, I've literally played it 20 times. I have never gotten Barry. Just I can't do it. I can't do it. That's so many hours just to do one quick. No,
it's not Barry. Is it Barry?
Barrett.
I'm sorry. I said Barry. That's Resident Evil 1.
Master of unlocking. Yeah.
Close enough.
No,
same character, big stocky dude.
It was definitely a lot of fun because it was
big
like
guy.
I did not think I would like it at all. But the funny part about it was like I think I tried to play 6 right after. That was really good. Or no, not 6, 8.
Okay.
8.
8's really good. Yeah.
I started it for 5 minutes. I go, no, I can't do it. Back to 7.
I think I actually had a similar story with Final Fantasy 7. One of my friends had it and they were obsessed with it. And I was the same. Everyone was talking about it. And I'm like, no, not interested, blah, 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 blah. And in the end, they came to school with it, didn't even ask me. And they were like, I'm giving you this game for the weekend because I'm sick of you telling me you haven't played it. So they forced me to borrow it. I was like, all right, that's how bad I was. I've always been like this. People are like, you have to play this. I'm going to force you to. Like, right,
you just like going against the grain.
No, I was poor, Louis, and I couldn't afford the games.
Well, then be annoying enough to get friends to go, here, shut up.
Game codes on the street kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, I was selling cheat codes.
You want an everlasting limit gauge?
Yeah. Do you want your death moves?
What about Ultimate Weapon in stage 1? Back in
literally had that.
Well, before Louis talks about Final Fantasy 7 for the rest of the evening, what is your game that surprised you, Louis?
My game that surprised me. I could go on 12 different ones, but the one that I'm going to talk about, Maria,
the new one.
I'm going to cheat up a Jake. What'd you get for answer 1, Jake?
Final Fantasy 7.
That's mine too. I thought of it. Slightly faster than you. No. Singularity. I loved Singularity. I bought it because it was $2 on sale at GameStop, and I was just really bored, and I'm like, if it sucks, it's $2. Who cares?
If it's $2, it's $2.
I started it up, started playing it, and immediately was hooked. I liked that it starts off kind of horror and then gets into weird sci-fi, and once it got to the sci-fi, I was done. This is my weekend. This is what I'm doing now, and I could not get away from it, and I was really, really surprised by that. And ever since I kept looking for like that other kind of fix, and the one that was kind of closest was what is that? Titanfall 2.
Titanfall 2 is great.
Haven't gotten a chance to play that yet.
Titanfall 2, but I loved the first one, but I hated that there was no story, and so did everybody else.
And
when
the
they
story
made
in 2 makes up for that.
Oh my god, it was worth the wait. It's so good. And but yeah, like that was one of those games that I hadn't even heard of it. I'd never seen anything on it. It had a cool cover, so I was like, $2. Yeah, man, that I regret that I wasn't looking forward to it, because I was just like, whatever. Like, I wish that I paid attention when I bought it. So now I pay attention to everything, and they all suck.
Yeah, it's like me. I purposely just ignore everything that I care about. It's just like, nope, not gonna look at it. If I like it, I'm looking away. Anyways,
exactly. That's why I don't watch trailers, which makes this whole show very bad for me.
It makes it
difficult. Hey, Louis, did you see that thing?
Hey, I'm the head of this. I'm the runner of this show, and I purposely avoid trailers of games that I'm excited for. Like, I literally avoided everything for Resident Evil 4 leading up to its release.
Basically lie to you anyway, so there's no point in watching them.
Well, the trailers can either tell you too much or they give you false advertising, and I don't want that. Anyways, my surprise game is Stardew Valley. Do you know why it's my surprise game?
No.
Because I never thought for the fucking second I'd want to play a farming game in my life until I played Stardew Valley.
Actually. Yeah.
Right.
I was like Animal Crossing. Yeah.
I've looked at farming games before, and I'm like, why the fuck would somebody want to play a game where you do chores? Like, I don't get it. Like, the farming simulators, same thing. Like, why would you want to play that? And then I picked up Stardew Valley for the first time, just for the hell of it, and I got into that, and it's like, wow, the gameplay loop is just addicting. Like, you just get sucked into it. And it has that whole thing where you finish your day and you get your rewards, and then you start the next day and you're like, okay, I think I need to stop playing right now, but I want to check on something first. But then once you start going, you don't stop.
Yes.
And it just gets its claws in you, and you can't stop playing. And next thing you know, 3 years has gone by and you have a family and children. You're like, oh my God.
Slow down, man.
In the game or
both.
Okay.
Yeah. I understand that. Yeah.
That one, I'm sorry. I haven't even tried. It just does not.
The family or the game?
Don't, Louis, run away. Run away.
All right. I have no aspirations.
Absolutely play it, but don't.
Nope. Maria, salt me. There we go. I don't know what that was, but okay.
Just the salt face.
Oh, the salt bay.
I love that so much.
What's happening?
Moving on. Now we're going to talk about the opposite of that, I guess. Talking about games that are pretty much universally loved, at least in a general opinion and like from a general perspective, that we don't like. You gonna go first, Louis?
Ooh.
Oh, Valen, tribute.
I don't get Pokemon.
What?
I don't understand it.
What?
I don't like it. Everything about it, the card game version, the video game.
It's cute animals.
Guess what, Louis? They don't get you either.
Good. I don't want to be caught. I don't want to catch any of them. None. It's like an STD. Got to catch them all, and then everybody
got to catch them
gets
all,
infected,
man.
and now they're all trying to infect each other. They're like, Louis played. No.
Animal, like putting animals against each other. It's like game cockfighting.
I mean,
I called it that before too, actually, like cockfighting kind of thing.
If you want to play a game where you're throwing balls at people, that is your game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other games where you throw balls at people, though. You know, there's like sports games.
I mean, I think that's kind of illegal.
Dodgeball.
Pokemon, it's legal though. You can
hit animals in the face with balls.
Yeah, I call this one my Ultra Ball.
Nothing about this conversation is angling me toward it. Just so you know.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like that as well. I'd never really got Pokemon. I was just like, it's cute animals, but I have no interest in the actual universe.
Have you tried them? And which ones have you tried?
How do I try them? Like physically? What am I?
Yeah, I mean, you try them on. There's a fitting room around the corner.
They just did not.
They're just like wearing a Pikachu.
maybe I got a bad batch. I don't know, but
I think the Game Boy up to like Game Boy Advance is probably like the prime, in my opinion. I know a lot of people love the newer ones and stuff, which I've played. I think the last two new ones, which were pretty good, but I think the originals are the best. That's probably the ones you've tried.
I would love to say that it's probably like it's not fast enough, it's turn-based, but to what you were saying about Final Fantasy VII, that did happen to me too. Everybody that I knew was like, dude, you got to try this. I'm like, but it's not fast. It's not like, like Devil May Cry was what I was into. And then they were like, no, shut up and play this fucking game. And I did. And I was like, this is a perfect game. I love everything about this. JRPG is now the thing that I am. And if I could grow my hair like Dan, I would have looked like that throughout my entirety of my childhood, but I couldn't. So now, like, so it's not that. It's definitely not the turn-based thing. It's not the gameplay. I think I just don't care. I think that there's but it's also the same problem that I have with like a lot of open world. It's so massive that I just kind of go, like I can't focus on it. I can't put all of my, mindset.
I need bite-sized gaming. Like.
For the most part, like unless you get something really good, like Breath of the Wild, Fallout 3, those kinds of that got my attention.
I mean, if I may ask, how old were you when you tried?
I was in.
We talking about drugs or Pokemon?
Yeah.
Oh, then I was in.
You got any
grade.
Pokemon cards?
You got any of those? You got those Pokemon cards?
You got any of that Pikachu?
That's fine.
Did you not watch the Pokemon cartoon as a child?
You weren't like on the school bus, like hitting up women, like, "Hey, take a Pikachu."
I want to say something. This because to add to your point, Louis, I have played and tried multiple Pokemon games, and I get into them for a time, but they lose me after a while. Like I played a lot of Pokemon Leaf Green, and it's like I get about maybe halfway through it, and I'm just like, I just stopped caring, and I just turn the game off. Like I'm just like, okay, I'm done.
I think honestly, for me, I think it's more nostalgia because it's like I remember like maybe like 4th and 5th grade is like when I heavily played them. So I think whenever I look at it nowadays, I associate it with how I was then. I mean, I'm sure if I picked up Leaf Green right now, as much as I think I love it, I think I would be like, to get halfway and just go,
I would say the nostalgia power, especially because like immediately just now I'm like, but I could easily pick up Donkey Kong Country and love every second of that game.
Yeah. That holds up.
That game holds up. It aged very well. So
I think with Pokemon,
Legend of Zelda was my first favorite game, and I get the same feeling.
And Pokemon, I think it's just there's so many of them now, you just cannot keep track. So it's just like that never-ending. Like I don't know. I feel old playing it. I'm just like. I think it was Pikachu.
I think for me there was the lack of nostalgia because it was before I even played Final Fantasy VII, and I didn't like the turn-based thing, so it didn't hook me. Then it didn't even have a story. Like the story is go get them. I'm like, okay, why? Because you get them, and then you have them. I'm gonna go away now because I was about Metal Gear.
Thrown out.
Yeah,
just go do your thing, kid.
I was all about Metal Gear. That's what got me about Final Fantasy VII. The gameplay still sucks to this day, but the story is so fucking good. I don't care how boring it is, but I just love big stories and stuff. So when this game came out, there was no story. It's just cute animals that cockfight each other until one of them is not bleeding, and then you win. I'm like, none of this is appealing. It's fighting without the fighting part. There's no violence, but it's all about violence, and there's no story. Well, it has a giant story, and you can catch them all.
You lost me on
ADHD doesn't fucking do that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I lost most people on the cockfighting part, but I'm going to stick to that, all right? I'm Mexican. I could say it.
Okay.
Moving on. How about you?
I'll jump in so everybody else can yell at me. As you said, Pokemon. I'm gonna probably make everybody mad. I'm gonna say Bloodborne and Dark Souls and everything Souls-like game. Well,
I kind of agree.
I can't say that. I like Star Wars. I like
But Jedi, you can put it on easy mode and you can
it's not
blast
as
through that
difficult.
game. Yeah,
it's not as difficult. So that is a game.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a game like everybody and their mother talks about. I'm kind of tired of hearing about it. I think it's overhyped. But I have played all of them except for I haven't played Elden Ring yet. Reason being, I have a feeling it's going to be the same experience I've had with every other game where I play for like 20 minutes, get wrecked, and then just throw my controller somewhere. But like I had to stop there and like think to myself, I'm like, why am I playing a game where I want to punch a hole in the wall? I don't understand it. I'm sure you all do.
Dare you, sir?
I mean, I have plenty of games that I do that with already, but it's not. I feel like it's not meant to do that.
Hallelujah!
I think the furthest I've made it through was Dark Souls 3, and that's because I played it with a friend who's real into it. And he's like, "No, you gotta play this game. This game is awesome. Dark Souls 3 is amazing."
Why does your friend sound like Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles?
No, he's not.
Is that your friend? Is he a poster on your wall?
He's like, totally tubular, man. You gotta play some. Gotta get some pizza.
This game's totally radical, dude.
The only time I ever played a Souls game was with Dan, and the whole time I was like, Dan, I'm on fire. Dan, I'm dead.
Yeah. Just roll, man. Just roll in a circle.
When we played Neo.
/roll, /roll.
Insert
you
clip
know
of,
they can't get you.
Insert a clip of Maria when she was by herself, and she's like, Dan, like as a guy was coming after her.
All right, I'm not gonna touch that dude. Oh fuck! Hi, Dan, help! Dan, help! Oh, I got it.
No,
I want to be clear about this though. The only reason I like Bloodborne is because of the story. There's a lot of elements to it. I love the not the traditional story in the sense of like from A to B, but like the behind what the meaning of the monsters and all that kind of stuff. I love horror. I love eldritch horror, so that appeals to me. The gameplay is fine. The stuff is okay, but I enjoy it because I love the world that it's set in. That's why I like it.
The most fun I had in that game out of Dark Souls 3, because that's the most I've played. I made my own story. I befriended what's his face, Marshmallow Man. I don't know his name. He looks like a marshmallow to me. I was talking to my buddy as I come up to him. I ended up killing him. I took his armor. I dressed as Marshmallow Man. Something happened.
I am the Marshmallow Man now.
And I don't know what happened. I can't remember, but I went back and he was alive.
Fucking amazing.
This sounds like the better version of the game.
And I'm like, I wear your armor in memory of you. I am Marshmallow Man.
Jake made up his own mod for Dark Souls 3, apparently.
Can I play this game? That's amazing.
I don't know whatever happened, but like my buddy was like, you weren't supposed to kill him. I was like, well,
I did.
I wanted to be a marshmallow. I said I could be anything. I became a marshmallow.
I developed my own narrative. Marshmallow guy, whatever the hell his name was. Yeah. You developed the whole narrative, but you didn't come up with a name? Cool. All right.
No, man, I'm still working on it.
Marshmallow Man or Michelin Man?
Marshmallow Man. I don't know, man. He's just...
Marshmallow Michael. There you go. Marshall. His name is Marshall.
Yeah,
there you are.
His name is Marshall. Marshall the Marshmallow Man.
I just closed that bookend for you.
Which reminds me.
Now you got to go back and finish the saga of Marshmallow Man.
I gotta go back. If there's anything like that in Elden Ring, I'll give it a try. Like if I can create my own narrative with someone, like if I could be like fried pickle dude,
maybe like when you got when you're kids, you got action figures and you're making up your own story.
Yeah, that's me.
I was just like, yeah,
I'm gonna go play as Marshmallow Man.
Okay, so I think I know what the problem is here. If the game has food-based storytelling, that's where you flourish. That's where you start to be happy. Marshmallow Man, pickle guy.
You know what? No, I'm changing my game. I'm going to throw in Mario. Oh, no.
It's all about food.
It's all about food.
And mushrooms, man. All right, go ahead. Somebody talk about Dark Souls or something else. Like,
I guess it's me next. Oh, looks like Ass Effect. I cannot with that. Mass Effect, Ass Effect. Yeah, I cannot.
Like the porn version of Mass Effect.
I wished it was.
There better be one of those.
There
Somebody
better
Google
be.
that shit right now.
I'm
Welcome to Mass
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, no, I can't. I
Commander.
cannot with. Shut up, Joey. I cannot with Mass Effect. I've tried. I tried playing it like 3 times, and each time I get the same point. Mass Effect 1, I haven't played any of the others, but I get to the same point in each part, and I'm just done.
Now's the part where the Mass Effect fans jump in and say, "Oh, just skip 1 and just go to 2 and just play 2."
I know, and they're all going to be like, "Yeah, but you didn't play it because it has a storyline where you have to play the game and it has consequences, and then by the end of the game, it's like I don't give a fuck. It's boring. I'm walking around reading emails and setting up relationships to have sex with aliens. I don't give a fuck. It's boring.
That's what it's all about: is having sex with aliens.
You get all them bloobs.
I want to be like, ooh, look at the blue person. I would have sex with you. I don't give a fuck. So I'm bored. Okay. I'm walking around this massive city, and I'm just like reading emails and pretending to care about characters that I don't care about. And it's just, and I've even like played these games, and I'm like, this game's so boring. And then friends of mine have been like, oh, I'm streaming Mass Effect for the first time, and I'm like, oh, they're going to agree with me about how boring this is. And they're like, oh, Commander Shepard is going into the thing, and it's like, it's so interesting. I'm like, it's fucking boring. Why are we talking about this?
They did lose me in the 45-minute opening where they're talking about, I don't remember what they were talking about. Let me shoot aliens. I want to shoot something.
Exactly. I want to shoot stuff. But why? Like, I have to go up an elevator, and this is like, oh wait, just fucking walk around here and look at the skyline, and I go back down again, and I'm reading emails, and I'm like, this game's supposed to be.
Why are you
good.
reading so many emails? I didn't read a fucking email at all in that game.
I think you secretly like reading emails.
What am I supposed to do?
I think you're mixing real life with the
and I went to do a mission, and there was this area, and there was like this guy, and it was like a submission, and it was some parking dispute this guy was having, that he had parked his spaceship at one place, and I was just like, why are we resolving parking tickets? I'm a fucking commander. It's just like this fucking game, and I'm gonna get so much hate, and all the comments are gonna be like, you don't appreciate good storytelling. Well, fuck off.
I think we're all fucked. Don't worry about that. But by the way, I went into incognito mode.
I bet you did.
Of course, to look up Mass Effect porn.
Mass Effect.
Immediately when I put in Mass Effect porn, it just sent me to like every porn site where it's like Mass Effect porn, Mass Effect porn. I'm like, no, okay, fine. Is there Mass Effect porn? And again, just Mass Effect porn, Mass Effect. And now I see a Reddit thing that says, should r/Mass Effect maybe ... cut back on the porn?
Cut back on the phone? Okay.
So if the game wasn't already porn.
Session, right?
I'm sorry.
That's what I think is hilarious about it. Yeah.
If it was porn, I think I'd actually play it, but it'd be more interesting.
Apparently you didn't get far enough.
Game.
That's what she said.
It's just, I don't know. I cannot with that game. I've
so
tried.
That's the problem, is what's really happening. The people who love Mass Effect are just deviants.
Yeah.
And they just want to have sex with all the aliens.
So I had the same problem you did, Maria. Like I made it to the Citadel, which was like the main city, like right after the first mission, and it bored the hell out of me.
Yeah, I know.
And so I gave up on the game twice because I tried it, made it back to the Citadel, gave up again, and I had the same buddy who went with me on Dark Souls, Michelangelo. You know,
your good pal Michelangelo.
He's like, bro, when you're done being Marshmallow Man,
when you get Marshmallow Man,
when you're done being Marshmallow Man, go back to Mass Effect. So I went and I played it, and I made it past the Citadel, and it got a lot better, and I beat it, and I actually went through a second playthrough, and I really enjoyed it. And I played the second one; it was good. The third one, not really. But I can honestly understand where you're coming from, because when I made it to that Citadel for the first time, I said, "Screw this game!" And the stupid elevator wait. How long?
Yeah, I know.
They're load screens. They're old school load screens. Is what that was.
These are just like aim the camera down.
This is what made Mass Effect fun for me. Is I went evil. You got to be a bad guy. Just be a dick. Just be mean to everyone. It's so much fun.
I did. I turned it off.
Actually playing the narrative, like you got to be mean to everybody. I'm not saving this planet.
Boom. Yeah. Yeah, that's shit.
Nuking everybody.
I can't do it. Sorry, it's not. I shouldn't have to edit the game to make it entertaining. It's their job to entertain me. I'm just like, fuck this game. I'm done. Same thing with Assassin's Creed 1. I was just like, fuck this game's stupid. Salty bitch.
Mine is actually going to be interesting because of what our core subject's going to be. I've never ever gotten into arcane games. I've tried Dishonored multiple times. I've tried the what's the newest one, the Death Loop. I think the games have a great appeal to them. I understand why so many people love like Dishonored. Like I know so many people who are crazy about Dishonored. They fucking love those games. And I started
holding you back
playing them. I don't get pulled into it. Like I've tried it and I'm like, the beginning is always like, oh, this is really interesting. This is really intriguing. Okay. And then the gameplay is solid and it feels good. But then I just get meh as I'm trying to explore the world and I'm trying to progress. And I'm like, all right, this is cool. I'm kind of over this now. Deathloop had a little bit better hold on me because I fucking love the writing in Deathloop. The writing in that game is phenomenal and the gameplay is really good. But it was that same weird issue that I have where there just wasn't anything that like kept me engaged to keep me pulling me forward in the game. And I don't know if it's because their games are a little bit more on the immersive sim side of things, but I went a little bit general because I said arcane games specifically. I've been told by a lot of people that Prey is really good, and I really need to try Prey. And I've actually had Prey installed for like over a year, and I just haven't done it yet. I'm kind of nervous because I want to like the game, but I'm afraid I won't.
No, I've heard great things about it.
I've started it a few times, and then inevitably something happens. So I feel that it's one of the curses that kills all of my computers. But anyway, what I tried was really good. The only thing about I think what your problem is with them is that they are so like you have to focus everything. If you leave that game for 2 hours, you're going to forget how to play it. And every level is at least 4 hours long. And so like I can see it and I can understand it, but also fuck you because they are amazing and you don't understand anything. It's just because you don't get it, Dan. It's
you don't get it. You just don't get it.
You don't get it, Dad. You don't get it.
It was in that moment Dan realized he didn't get it.
You didn't get it.
I get it now. No, I love them, but again, also I like them because of like I like that kind of world and that kind of setting. But I can totally see not liking it because it does require a lot. I haven't finished Dishonored.
My problem is my focus. I'm too distracted by everything else in the world that's happening around me and all the other games I'm trying to play at all freaking times.
That kind of happened with me with Horizon. Is like I was like, I'm into it. And as soon as it got to the open world, I'm just kind of like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah. It was great when you focused me, and now that you let me do it,
now I'm allowed to do what I need to, and I don't give a shit anymore. So, yeah. Now you've given me free choice. I don't care.
God, I feel that in my soul. Like what you just said is what most games.
Now that I have choice, I've chosen to not care.
This game is great. Do whatever you want. I'm done.
I don't want to. You can't make me have free choice.
Tell me what to do.
I want to get on this too because I know it's going to happen. There's those out there that I've heard from people before to not even bother playing the main Prey game, but just play the Moon Crash DLC because the Moon Crash DLC is apparently a Metroidvania game within a game.
Sucks.
And I love Metroidvania. So before you jump in the comments and say, just go play Moon Crash. I know. I just haven't yet because I got to play out of the other games first. So anyways, moving us along, we're going to talk about an arcade game. Redfall. We're gonna talk about the upcoming and like much hyped. I don't want to say hype, but like so Redfall is going to be coming in the next few months. It's coming in May, I believe.
Unless it gets delayed.
I don't see any reason why at this point. It seems like it's on track. Anyways, there's a lot of previews that have been going out recently talking about how good a lot of people think the game is coming along. And when I first got announced, I was actually pretty excited for that game because it's a vampire shooter. And I'm like, okay, I'm down for that. I'm down for shooters plus vampires that actually look like creepy, like 30 Days of Night vampires, which is those are the best vampires. The 30 Days of Night vampires with the shark teeth.
The pointy teeth.
But anyways, we're gonna just talk about some of the expectations that we have for Redfall. So let's jump right into it, everyone. So what is your hype level for Redfall at this point? Are you going to play it? Are you not going to play it? You're like, okay, cool, I might play it because it's on Game Pass kind of thing.
I think I fall into that category of Game Pass, maybe. It looks fun, but I don't see me going out of my way to like, oh, I gotta play this game. Definitely not by myself. I have to play that game with friends. Otherwise, no interest to me. The biggest thing that worries me is I've seen the story trailer. I still don't know what it's about. It just seems...
Is that a good or bad thing, though?
It could be good, because I can just use my logic like we were talking about earlier and make my own story.
You could just be Marshmallow Man.
Yeah.
I am Marshmallow Man. There is a city full of zombies. Not zombies, I'm sorry. Take two. I am Marshmallow Man. There's a city full of vampires giving that good suck to the town citizens. You must take your trusty stake and stab it. Each one of them.
Okay, I'm going back online. Hold on. Incognito.
They don't need to know about
what you
typing, Louis? Vampires that give good suck.
Vampires and Marshall.
Marshall.
The fan fiction of Marshall versus
I'm hoping it'll keep me interested. That's what I'm trying to say. Is like I hope it has a story that it doesn't have to be like the best story in the world, but something that'll keep me like, why am I doing this? Other than just mindlessly killing vampires for reasons whatsoever.
Here's the thing. If it sucks, I'm pretty sure it will keep you interested. But
that did suck.
Ha-cha-cha.
Ha-cha-cha.
Waka waka. All right.
I think that the story only needs to be just good enough for this type of game. And like, that's all I really need, honestly, especially if the gameplay is really solid and it's co-op. To me, again, that's a huge seller. Like, I'm more interested in this game because it's co-op, because it's always better to play with friends and an experience, like this, where if you can group up with buddies. And to me, the first impressions I get from the game, it looks like a dark, scary version of Borderlands versus vampires. And the fact that there's different characters you can play as, they have different abilities and different skills that they can use. So you can kind of build and balance your team out based on what playstyle you have. And it's got RPG mechanics. So the characters level up and you can kind of guide and create your own custom character within the character. So for me, there's a lot going on there that actually pulls me into it. It helps a lot that it's going to be on Game Pass, because then it's an open door to just walk into it, especially with all my friends. If they're on Game Pass and we can jump into it and just play. And that's definitely something for me that's going to play a big factor into that. Hopefully it doesn't go the way of Back 4 Blood, because Back 4 Blood failed on that front.
Yeah, I feel like when I first saw this game come out, it was like, oh, you're shooting vampires and stuff, and it's like, all right, that's kind of cool. But the more I've seen of it, the more it's kind of sparked my interest. Again, I'm a little bit more of the if it's on Game Pass, I'll play it, because I don't play fuck all anyway. So it's just, I'm probably sure Dan's going to talk me into it. But it reminds me, it's got a bit of like a Doom 2016 thing with it going, where they, you see the character that grabs the zombie, like punches it in the face and stuff, and I'm all for that. And I like the whole, like,
you need that visceral violence.
The ripping of the flesh and the gun.
Rip and tear. I'm sorry, I need to introduce you next time as Rip and Tear Maria.
Rip and Tear, yeah. But no, the more I've seen of it, like the guy saw, like I don't really know what the story is, because I was just kind of like, I don't give a fuck, just shoot vampires. But it just seems interesting. It's just like, I like first person shooters and stuff. So yeah, it is more interesting to me now, and the co-op aspect of it, absolutely. I mean, that's, want to play with your friends. I like playing with my friends. So yeah, it is cool. I
am very much looking forward to it. I love Bethesda. I love most of the games that they come out with. Most, not all, most. I even like the last what is that? The Blood Brother or Blood Sisters, Wolfenstein. The one that, like, everyone was like, it's dog shit. It's still like, I thought it was fun. It's stupid, but it's like stupid
It's
fun.
Wolfenstein, though.
I wonder why do you label that as Bethesda, though? I mean, yes, they published those games, but they didn't develop those games.
No, yeah, I get that part, but like
I'm gonna get real like actually, Louis.
Actually, is not thinking fine.
Okay. When I do it, it's contentious, but when you all right, here we go. So part of the thing, like so, we gotta have them. Part of the thing that I'm thinking about is that like when Bethesda takes on a game, it's backed up by that studio that is known for high mechanics, for high playability. But also, if you want, there is a story. You just have to be paying attention to get it. So you get both sides of the coin. And I actually really appreciate that kind of stuff that they do. Some of them are a little bit more forced. Again, like the Wolfenstein, like you have to sit there and watch 20 hours worth of cutscenes. But I like that. Or you can just cut through that, go to the fire play and go in there and just start shooting people like crazy. That's why we have stuff like Doom working out. That's why we have stuff like Wolfenstein. That's what we have like the arcane games that you were talking about very specifically. To me, this feels like a cross, before you get mad, a cross between like Left 4 Dead, but without the horde, but like that style of gameplay with the teammates going in, plus Dishonored, so you can get that like really cool JRPG almost style level up system like you were talking about, so I can really placate my own play style, but I'm getting the same kind of speed and the same kind of like dopamine fix that I would get in a Left 4 Dead horde shooter without the hordes. Instead, I'm getting a great story, playing with my friends, and having just like this grand old time being extremely violent against vampires' faces, which I really want to see, please. Because yeah, Back 4 Blood kind of sucked.
Yeah, I mean,
it didn't suck. It was just not as good.
Still haven't played it.
I think the problem with Back 4 Blood is the same with Left 4 Dead. Is like it's very repetitive. There's not a lot of difference. Like, sure, they're fun games, and it's easy to just like let's jump in and we'll shoot some zombies for a little while. But it's like there's no end game. There's no, I don't know. The reward factor isn't there for me. Like Back 4 Blood is fun once, essentially.
Yeah, I agree.
But I like Left 4 Dead specifically too, just because of that repetitive nature. But the thing is, when Back 4 Blood came out, it is basically just Left 4 Dead, but not as good. So to me, it's kind of like, I don't need this because I already have this, and I have a better version of it, which is faster. I just I don't need it. That's the problem that I saw with Back 4 Blood. I love it. I think it's great, but it's just a lesser version of something that existed 12 years ago.
Yeah. For like, I actually, the biggest concern that I have for Redfall right now is the fact that it is an arcane game. Doubling back on what I was just talking about, as I don't care for arcane games. I'm worried that it's going to have that same problem that I have with arcane games. Everything I see in the trailer suggests otherwise, but I just don't know until I get my hands on it and I experience it. The things that are getting me though in the trailer is I love the visceral violence like Maria likes. I like the story beats that look like they're good enough to like make some sort of sense. I love the design of the vampires. I like the variety of the enemies. I love the abilities, the different styles and abilities that the characters have for powers. I love that. I love that it kind of has that Borderlands-esque-ness to it where, you know, you're going to be the character that has the telekinesis that can throw down like shields. You're going to be the tech guy that's got the little robot. You're going to be the other person who's like a killer sniper with all these cool special abilities to go along with it. And we build and balance a cool team around that. And the gameplay has a lot of variety and nuance to it as well. It's not just run and shoot like a horde shooter. There's a lot of special abilities. There's a lot of different ways to approach combat. Like you can actually stealth, you can snipe. There was a segment in the most recent trailer where two people are sneaking into a room and they actually go like stealth mode and have like invisibility pop up on them, and they're sneaking through the room, and one guy takes out one dude with like a silencer, then the other guy takes out another guy with a silencer, and I'm like, ooh, I like that little nuance. I like that they can be like, hey, we're going to sneak in here and we're going to clear the room, and then we're going to make our way to the boss vampire, and that's going to turn into this epic boss fight where you got to like, you know, guns a-blazing, pull out all the stops to kill this boss type monster. So there's a lot there that speaks to me. As
that's what it is.
Yeah, as long as it actually is that.
There's a lot that speaks to me as well, but it ain't going to fucking be like that, though, is it? It's just going to be like, after about 2 months, you're going to be like, this is boring. Just because I find a lot of the stuff in the trailer as well is a lot of like run and shoot and pull zombies apart. And I'm like, oh, it's like Doom 16. I haven't even completed Doom 2016 for that reason, where I'm just like, okay, it is what it is, but it's the same thing over and over again. And so it's like playing with your friends is the big part of it. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if that it is what you say it is, then I'm like, yeah, cool, because I like Borderlands and I like that tactical, like I can snipe where you go in and stuff. But if it is what it says it is, which I don't know, because games these days like to fuck us over, and so I'm just like, it's free, I'll try it.
I feel like Maria has been screwed over one more time than all of us combined.
I have.
She keeps going, everyone's a fucking liar. I'm like, yeah.
Hey, Louis, I'm British and I hold a grudge. Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. I see that.
Something I was interested in. I don't know if anybody really thought about it, because the game's supposed to be open world.
Oh no,
True.
It is it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be open world. So like, I'm a little concerned. I'm like, how big is their version of an open world, and do we want an open world?
I guess it depends on how open world it is in regards to how Arcane designs games, because Deathloop was a open world, like pseudo. You get like areas that they're given to you like in chunks. You don't just go wherever you want to go at any given time. And it could be an open world, but maybe there's restrictions. So like there's things that block your path and you got to like open up stuff. When they talk about the story and they're saying like you can play through the game single player or with friends, that's where I'm hoping that there's a really good balance to like, I want to be able to say I'm playing the game by myself and I'm digging it and I'm having fun and I'm making my way through the story. And then you guys pop online. It's like, hey, you want to co-op? Like, cool, let's hop into a co-op game and we can just continue a story at a certain point where, just like Borderlands would, like you would pick up like a separate save file almost in a co-op game. And then once you guys are like, okay, I'm done, I'm going offline, and be like, okay, cool, I'm going to hop right back into my single player game, still bring in the experience and rewards that I earned playing with you guys. But then again, it's like, is it going to be a looter shooter? Is there going to be loot drops? Or is it going to be more like fixed assets, materials, guns, those kind of things? There's a lot of things that I don't quite know yet. And it's like, okay, I'm really hopeful.
Like, you know, as far as what kind of open world it is, I was thinking about that exactly the same thing as Dishonored, which is essentially open world, but it's levels. So you get one level that's a big fucking level that you can literally go wherever the hell you want. You do have to go to certain areas in order to open up the next area so you can complete it, like Dan was saying. And I'm thinking that would make me a lot more comfortable, especially in co-op, because if I got two senses from it, two feelings, which is one, Dishonored like that, and two, Evil Within 2. Which is phenomenal. Love the game, but it's so massive. I did at certain points get a little overwhelmed, and especially when I had no idea where to go, I was like, and then you're just in my head, and I'm gonna go play something else because that's way easier. Anything is easier than this, and I don't see how that would be too versatile when you're in 4-player mode, because like Dan is saying too, it'd be cool to have a mode where I can go in with my single player and a mode where I can go in with you guys. But now I have to wait if those are going to be completely independent and I can't bring that experience over, or at least half of it. That's going to be really, really hard, because if I can play on my own, bring that experience over to you guys, now I'm a level 10, each of you is a level 5, and I'm just killing everything and taking all the loot and everything like that. That's not really fair either. There's a lot of things that could both work out and completely break the game.
There's also that thing of like, oh, you have to have done that mission before your friends can jump in and do that mission and stuff. And it's like, it gets a little bit weird. It's like nice if you could have that co-op campaign where you can have like, oh, you can jump in at any time and there's an option to play single player. But yeah, I always find that with these online co-op games is that because I don't play it as much as other people, it's like, oh, have you done this mission? No, I'm always playing catch up while they're doing this thing. So that's always the tricky part. But also I'm like, I don't want to play with friends. I want to be depressed and play by myself. So
no, I don't
That's
know.
always the worst.
Like
that was an issue I had with the Division, like with the level scaling when it first came out. Me and my buddies, we got it. We played it all night long.
Michelangelo?
And Marshall?
No, actually, no. It was a different Ninja. So we all played it that night, and then I had to work the next day, and everybody else was off. So while I was at work, they were just grinding away. And when I got back on later that night, they were like 15 levels ahead of me.
Like, oh, thanks,
and so
bro.
like I'm scaled with their enemies now, so I'm just getting one hit killed. I'm essentially just throwing like rocks at enemies, and it's just bouncing back and hitting me in the face. And they're like, oh no, we'll carry you through. And I was just like, but I want to play the game.
Yeah, I don't want to be carried.
I want to enjoy this. Like, I don't want to be a marshmallow.
I
wanted to be a marshmallow there, not here. Here I'm
experience
a man.
I have with Destiny is that's my comfort game, and I play it by myself all the time, even though it's one of the biggest multiplayer games there is. But I'm like playing it, and they have some of the bosses are so hard in that game. I'm like, I don't want to play with friends because I want to play by myself. But their boss is like, if you got some friends in, this would be easier. And I'm like, I want to be by myself. It like forces you to bring people in, and you're like, I don't want to. So it'll be nice. I hope with Redfall that I hope the single player is. I hope they don't cheap out, force you to do the co-op, and because I hope they like make it so it's good to do, but you can play it by yourself, because
it'd be a good single player experience.
Yeah,
I prefer that the single player campaign and the cooperative campaign, they could be the exact same story, but I need them to be separate, because in a similar vein, I had an issue when I played the first Dying Light. I played Dying Light 1 and I was soloing that game by myself. And then one time I was online and like I was in a group chat with people and I was like, yeah, I'm playing Dying Light. And this one guy was like, oh, I play that. You want me to come in and join you? And I was like, sure, why not? This guy was like 100 levels higher than me. He had everything in the game. And as soon as he jumped in, he just beelined to my main mission without me, completed it without me. And I was like, I just watched the little objectives thingy on my screen go ding and then move on to the next thing. And I'm like, wait, what happened? And he's like, oh, I finished the mission. I'm like, dude, I'm not even there. I'm like, I rage quit. And I was like, I'm never talking to this guy again. I literally have never spoken to that person ever since.
That's what scares me about this game. I kind of associate it with Dying Light. And Dying Light, I was very hyped for. And when it came out, I was so disappointed. And
I enjoyed Dying Light enough, but that fucking ruined it for me that this person finished the mission without me and I saw none of it. None of it. I will never see it unless I start the game over again.
Or YouTube. Or YouTube.
That's not me. That's not my role. Anyway,
we do play for
it didn't happen.
I really want Redfall to be good.
Yes.
Arcane.
Oh yeah. I hope all games are good.
I want to play with my friends. I want to play with my friends.
I just want to play with my friends.
And not with my friends at the same time.
I feel
I don't want to play with my friends. Fuck all you.
We're gonna drag you along, Maria. You're gonna play with us.
I don't want to.
As long as I can make myself
have fun.
If I can make myself a marshmallow, I'll be down.
If Jake makes himself a marshmallow, I'll play. I'll play.
That's it.
Marshmallow, be the marshmallow, and I'll be the chocolate.
Oh snap!
Smose. Incognito mode again.
We're gonna be Team Smose.
We gonna be the Smose.
The Smose
brothers. Smoke Bros. Yes, stutter.
Smose pone.
Oh man.
Is there Smose pone?
Well, on that terrible disappointment,
vampires suck, right?
The vampires suck. That's right. That's what they do. That's why we don't like vampires and they need to die. Because they suck.
And I twinkle, apparently.
Thank you all for catching this episode of Screen Smash. Be sure to check us out over on CouchSoup.com. You can sign up for free memberships. Support our lovely faces, as Maria once said. Maria's lovely face. Please support it.
Sour. No, salty. Sorry.
Anyways, thank you, Louie. Thank you, Jake. And thank you, Maria. We will see you all next week. So long.
Bye.
Bye.
Smile.